Chairman.
Good morning. I'd like to ask Reverend John Davis to lead us in prayers, please.
So let us pray. Almighty God, you call us, the people, to pray for those who we elect to government. And so we pray for all members of this county council, the controlling group and those in opposition, that in all their undertakings, deliberations and decisions, they will serve the common good for the benefit of all people of this county. We pray for those employed by this council that their work in support of the council will be fulfilling and rewarding. And as citizens of the world, we pray for peace and justice, an end to conflict, war and hatred. We pray for reconciliation and forgiveness among all peoples of goodwill, to enable God's kingdom to grow in our lives, and we ask this in the name of the one who came to serve, not to be served, Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. So I invite you, if you wish to do so, to join with me in that prayer that our Lord gave us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Please be seated. Before we start the meeting, I would like to remind all members of the need to comply with the Council's procedure standing orders, and in particular the following provisions. Where a member breaches procedural standing orders or their speech contains irrelevancies or tedious repetition, the Chairman may call on that member to cease their speech and sit down. If the member continues to disregard the authority of the Chairman may ask them to leave the chamber for the remainder of the meeting and, if they fail to do so, order their removal. The Chairman will invite members to speak in order that he thinks fit. When invited to speak, a member should stand and address the Chair. Other members will remain seated unless rising on a point of order or in personal explanation. Whenever the Chairman speaks, no member will continue standing and no members will rise until the Chairman has finished speaking. No member may question another member's motives or use offensive expressions to any member of the Council or officer. A member will not speak more than once on any item or motion except to make a point of order, personal explanation, or in the exercise of a right of reply. A member may rise at any time to make a point of order or personal explanation and will be entitled to be heard immediately. The decision of the Chairman on all points of the procedure and order and their interpretation of these standing orders will be final. The Chairman will have discretion to vary the procedure at any meeting where they consider it would be conducive to the effective management or conduct of the business at the meeting. If a member leaves the chamber for whatever reason during the consideration of an item, as they have not been present for some or all of the debate on that item, they should not take part in any vote thereon. Moving on, item 1, apologies. Are there any apologies for absence?
Good morning, Chairman. Good morning, Council. Yes, we have a number. Councillors Greatorex, Large, Martin, Shortland, Hunt and Bentley.
Okay. Are there any other apologies?
Yes. Apologies for Councillor Eggington. He was called away at last moment.
Thank you. Moving on to item 2, declarations of interest. Does any member wish to declare an interest? Thank you. Item 3, confirmation of the minutes of the previous meeting. Oh, sorry. Councillor Pert.
In terms of the minutes of the previous meeting, on the 11th of December, I asked a question of the Cabinet member and was promised a response to follow. I raised this on the 12th of February at the last meeting and was similarly promised a response and a personal apology. To date, I have received none of those, and I think it's disrespectful to this council and to myself not receiving the response in this time. Maybe it's due to a lack of leadership, but certainly in terms of openness and transparency, it does nothing for this council.
Thank you for that. I will ask for a response to be sent to you. Thank you, Chairman. Councillor Wilson.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, members. Similarly to my colleague, I did ask a question at the last council meeting of Councillor Higgins. I have yet to receive a response and wondered if I could have one this morning. Thank you.
I'll make sure that's followed through. Thank you. Councillor Higgins.
Question. Yeah. Yes, Councillor Wilson, I have asked for a response. I have tried to chase. Sorry. I have chased that up and I'm still waiting to find out the process, if I'm honest, about how I get that question, the answer back to you. So I will get that done as soon as I can. Yeah, okay.
Thank you. And just to check now, are councillors happy with the minutes? Aye. Thank you. I move that the minutes of the council meeting held on the 12th of February 2026 be signed as a true record. Oh, we've done that, so, yep, sorry. Thank you. Item 4, Chairman's correspondence. I haven't any correspondence, but you might be wondering why we have Easter eggs laid out here. So councillors may be aware that each year we have a collection to provide Easter eggs for our care leavers. Our care leavers deserve all our support as they make their way in life. And a vital part of our work is to ensure that they know they have a caring family that will continue to support them. At holiday times, we believe it is important that they enjoy the little things that most young people take for granted. An egg at Easter is a small way in which we show our continuing care and support to them. May I urge all councillors to give generously, and after today's meeting, we will send you details of how you can make a positive difference to the lives of our care leavers. Thank you. Moving on to item 5, statement of the Leader of the Council. Part 1 of the statement, items 1 to 3 are for debate. Items 4 to 9 in part 2 of the statement are for information only, and no debate is allowed on them. Councillor Murray, will you move consideration of the statement, please?
Thank you, Chairman. Just before we move, I would like to say just a quick few words, if I may. Firstly, I'd just like to say it's lovely to see the Easter eggs on this table. It's a very important gift that we should be giving to all of our care leavers. It's a great campaign that we launch out of this county council every year. So it's a wonderful presence to see. Also, to assure you, we would like to pass on our best wishes and thoughts to Councillor Large, who is on sick leave at the moment. I know he is eager to return to represent his constituents in Brood as soon as he can. Finally, to assure you all, we will be electing a leader for this county council at the earliest opportunity, once group rules and council rules permit. And we all know the importance of the democratic choice. We always make sure that every person has their say and vote when invited to do so. Thank you, Chairman. And I move to consideration the Leader's statement.
Councillor Orlandi Fantini, did you want to speak? No? No? Okay. Councillor C, are you speaking?
Okay, Staffordshire. Isn't Staffordshire a wonderful county? It's a fantastic place to live, and rightly, on the 1st of May 2026, we celebrate this amazing county with Staffordshire Day. This day is a day of pride. It brings together communities, big and small, to celebrate our beautiful county, its residents, places, and history that made it so. Can the acting leader please explain the purpose for Staffordshire Day and how we might each get involved to support it on the 1st of May?
Thank you. Councillor Philip White.
Thank you very much, Chair. Just a question for you before I speak to the agenda item. Are we going through each of the items listed? So are we going through SEND and then UK Reef and Staffordshire Day, or is it just one question on the whole of section 1? I'll sit down just while you answer the question, and then I'll speak.
Yeah, we're just going through items 1, 2 and 3.
That was the case. So, good morning, colleagues. It's a pleasure to see you all. Before I speak on SEND, I'll just respond to Councillor Murray's comments about leadership of the council. We all on this side agree with you that after 3 months without a leader of this council, it is essential that we do have a permanent leader of the council as soon as possible. 3 months without that is a deep, deep concern to us all. So thank you for speaking to it in your opening remarks. Another area of deep concern to us all is special educational needs, and I am very pleased to see that the first item on our agenda today is the government's white paper. It is long awaited. It is, I think, in fairness to the government, it is fair to say that now it's finally arrived. There are some sensible proposals in there, seemingly, and I think it's really important that we as a council seize the opportunities that may be in there to improve the service that we're able to offer to children with special educational needs and to their families. So this is an area where we're in absolute agreement, I think, across the chamber. We all want to see this improve. We will look to work with you on this if you want to work with us. Another small point of thanks. It's very good to see the mention of the Walton 16 to 19 facility that we're constructing in Staffordshire Place at the moment. That was a decision that was driven by the previous cabinet member, Jonathan Price. Pay tribute to him for his work on that. But I also pay tribute to the new cabinet member for continuing with that. It's a really, really welcome addition. So hopefully something there that we can all agree that we'll work on together.
Thank you. Councillor Brown.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everybody. In response to the white paper and SEND, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask Councillor Higgins for a bit further detail, please. It says that you'll be digging behind the headlines. Are you doing that, and at what time frame, please? At East Staffordshire Borough Council Health and Wellbeing meeting on Monday, the Deputy Chair said that the money was already available for schools, and schools were applying for this money. That was news to me. So therefore, what is the strategy and time frame being proposed? At one of my schools, Henhurst Ridge Academy, a fantastic school that I visited last week at Branston, they are ready to support this new white paper. But where is the guidance and support, please? Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Edgeler.
Thank you very much, Chairman, and good morning, everyone. Yes. Children are our future. I'm speaking on the SEND item, actually. Children are our future. Let everyone in this chamber remember that. I'm pleased and I welcome the white paper. It's trying to solve some of the problems associated with SEND pupils. My concern is, I do believe that more money is needed and invested to give these children the right help and support. My other concern is, where are you going to find these extra people to work in schools with the experience and knowledge that is needed? Can the Cabinet member explain what is being done about extra funding and the advertising for fully qualified staff? I'm pleased the leader has mentioned Walton Hall Academy that will take place in SP1. This was initiated and driven by previous Conservative Cabinet member for SEND, Jonathan Price. Thank you, Jonathan. It is good to know that the new administration has taken it on board and progressing with it. Autistic children, some are very, very clever. And I speak of a friend of mine that had to fight to get her autistic son into college. He did very, very well, and now he's a very good qualified electrician and doing very, very well. Life experiences. As a single mum with a child with complex needs, being placed out of county, I could write a book about my experiences on that. Coming home one day, absolutely in floods of tears, because I wanted to take my child out of the system. But as a single mum on her own, I didn't know what to do. And I knew if I took him out of the system, then the county would wash their hands of him. So I was in a very difficult situation. Thought for the future, Staffordshire County Council build our own school for children with complex needs. Stop filling the pockets of people that operate these establishments out of county and are making a fortune. That money would be better spent taking care of our own, and I welcome your thoughts on this. Thank you. Please. Thank you. In Staffordshire Day, you mentioned Trentham Estates. Can I tell everyone in this chamber, please remember, Trentham Estates comes under Stafford Borough, not Stoke-on-Trent. Thank you. And also, Stafford Day, we're trying to do something, Staffordshire Day, we're trying to do something in Stafford. And there's a company, Cultural Events, have been asked to promote this. But where is the money coming from and where is the funding coming from? Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Councillor Kelly.
Are we allowed... Sorry, Chair, are we allowed to talk about anything on part one, or is this just on the white paper? Just on the white paper? On part one. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, you can ask any questions. Sorry, I've been advised you can.
This is about the Eucharist event and Staffordshire Day. Thank you. So it is It is fantastic to see the leader's statement, the importance he has put on visitor economy. Within my area alone, there is the Peak District National Park, the first national park in the country, which is celebrating its 75 years this year, Rudyard Lake, Peak Wildlife, which is home to some of my favourite constituents of polar bears, capybaras and penguins. And there is a £4.2 million project in Leek at the Nickerson, which will be home to a refurbished library and museum. It goes to show that Staffordshire is not and should not be classed as a place that people travel through, but it is the destination. This is just what is happening within my area alone. So it goes to show how fantastic Staffordshire truly is and the growth this area can accomplish. So what other events and things are we to expect this year in Staffordshire? Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, I was advised wrongly there. Please stick to the workings of the cabinet. But thank you, Charlotte. Councillor Broome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, colleagues, everybody. An early happy Easter. With Staffordshire Day being the 10th anniversary, could I ask our leader, would he support the notion of having a free parking day, maybe 3 for 3 hours, but just to celebrate this as Staffordshire being the beating heart of our country. And I ask this on behalf of all the people in Biddulph, Biddulph Moor and Endon.
Councillor Murray.
Yeah, I've got a few questions there. We'll start off with the send, and with Councillor White's opening remarks, I totally agree. There are certain elements do not belong in the world of politics. Caring for those most vulnerable, for our send children, those differently abled. We must be as one for Staffordshire, for those. It's a shame that a couple of the questions thereafter didn't follow that same line and politicised it slightly, and that is a shame. The white paper itself has only just been released. We're still waiting for the finite detail on that. And with the government of late, who knows if it U-turns again on us. So we'll have to wait to see the exact detail, the exact funding to come through to where it can be best placed. Make a great remark about filling the pockets of private companies. Some are fantastic, others not so. Within this realm, we also see this within the adult care facility as well, with dynamic pricing even. Love to have our own. We do have a barrier coming up to us all in the next 2 years with those 3 letters, LGR, whereupon restrictions are placed with our spending levels and our investment. But we do have an FSA coming, Foundation Strategic Authority, as well. Now, hopefully, with that extra, fully devolved single Staffordshire, maybe, just maybe, we can start bringing that back in-house and giving the care that is rightfully deserved for those who just need a little help, a little different timeline. There's no difference, it's just a different timeline. The abilities they have is fantastic, including within councillors over this side who've come through that whole system. So, really nice. My declaration of interest of mine, my wife works within one of those schools. So I fully understand it. My son is now a carer at overnight accommodation, again, in my interest, just as personal interest. So I fully understand its importance. And it's more than just children. So it carries on into the care leavers as well. These eggs, they then go into a great piece of work to connect to work and get bitten working, which are a lot within the needs, a lot come through that care leavers who are often forgotten, and that goes into adulthood, into the education and training. And it reverts back to that. It's a slightly different timeline, not a different ability. So that support must carry through into early adulthood, because there's such great wealth of knowledge and ability that through hundreds of years of history has often been forgotten. And it's an opportunity that has been sadly missed in the past, but will not be in the future. And again, that's where we all work together, because probably 90% of what we do has no difference in politics. We agree to the same points, whether you're Labour, Green, Lib Dem, Conservatives, Reform UK. It's the same point we all achieve. So let's work on those points together where it really matters, without the politics within it. And as soon as that detail comes from central government, the exact detail, then we'll know where that extra funding can be laid to support those who need it the most. Let's wait for the detail first. On the Staffordshire Day, it's a great accolade for the county. A lot of other areas have their own areas. Staffordshire Day is their 10th anniversary. Something great accolade that was brought through 10 years ago, clearly, by the previous administration. And it sings out about Staffordshire. And we wanted to really sing Staffordshire for every area together as one this year. We brought out the Staffy, our happy little chappie. Our first person to acquire one of these is Trentham Estates. Not sure where people get the stoke from, but I have visited, done work within Trentham Estates several times. It is Staffordshire, through and through. It's also the highest visitor economy number in Staffordshire. Trentham Estates has one of the top 5, I believe, in the country. It is a fantastic asset, and they are singing the praises of Staffordshire by taking the Staffy on straight away, and others are all lining up. They'll soon all be gone. And it brings everything together. This happy little chappie brings our county together. And we come to where we all need to do events across this whole county. Whether it's your parish, your school, your park, having events, larger events that may be happening as well. Every area can contribute to this event. So let's get our schools involved. Let's get our churches, our religious institutions of all to come together as one and celebrate Staffordshire Day on May the 1st. And it's a fantastic idea that our local councils release just for that day so these events can truly flourish. To release the parking charge for one day, we do it quite often at Christmas times and other periods where they give a free parking day. And it'd be nice that we all come together as one county, sing out Staffordshire, sing out the greatness of our communities all coming together, and be amazed how much that interlinks this whole county, where people from furthest of South Staffordshire will actually travel to the moorlands, which they do quite often for these events, where people from Stoke actually go to Tamworth. I mean, we have Spudman there. They come from all over the country to go to Tamworth. They come from all over the world to come to see the Spudman. He is globally renowned, to say the least. People travel this whole county up and down it and across this whole country to go to some of our great tourist attractions, your Trentham Estates, your Cannock Chase, Alton Towers, Drayton Manor, MacArthur Glen. They also all work into the day and into the evening, these do. And people travel to them all. It's one sector of business. So it's all of us shout out together. That's a call out to every single parish council, district, borough, us as councillors, to the schools, to the charity groups, to the local community groups. Put an event on for Staffordshire Day. I would love to do one I've always wanted to do on Staffordshire Day is to do a maypole again on St Luke's Church in Cannock. Did that back in '77 on May the 1st for May Day celebrations. I actually danced around the maypole for Prince Charles. So it'd be nice to bring some old traditions back as well. So it's a great one that we should all work together on again for Staffordshire Day. And it could be a great promoting of our whole county as one. And that helps promote business as well. Brings everybody together. And it's a great event, a great day, and we need to push it further, harder, faster and bigger. Thank you.
Councillor Wallins.
Good morning to everyone. Would you agree, Councillor Murray, that the hard work of Cabinet members for education and SEND, especially when it comes to tackling the backlog and various other challenges that they're facing, shouldn't go unnoticed and it should be recognised for the hard work over the last 10 months? Thank you. Yeah.
Councillor Humphreys.
Thank you, Chair. My question's on the UK Reef. So it's great to see the acting leader at Westminster the other day talking about the virtues of Staffordshire. Could you update us on any other events he's been to recently where he's also discussing the benefits of Staffordshire?
Councillor Mandring.
I'm very happy to see Staffordshire be able to be advertised for investment at UK Reef. And not only Staffordshire County Council, but I was just wondering if the acting leader can answer me whether the Cannock Chase District Council will also be having a seat at UK Reef. Thank you.
Yeah, Councillor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning again. I just wanted to pick on Councillor Murray's Staffordshire Day. Obviously, it's great to see your enthusiasm for it, but can I remind you that the lack of detail has actually been supplied by others? You initially gave one example, and then by the end of your long speech, we got a few more examples. But what I want to say is, so you say 50 days to go, let's get schools and parish councils on board. So that means it looks like there's 36 days, not even working days, until the 1st of May because of school holidays. So it's getting too late. Some parish councils We'll meet possibly once between now and that date. So I think as far as points are concerned on this one, we're severely lacking, and I'm so disappointed that we've had an awful lot of waffle, not much substance, and it's not a political story, it is fact. So please, let's look at this and revisit, because at the moment you're running out of time with 36 days left. Thank you very much.
Councillor Wilson.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm not clear if I'm allowed to talk about every item I want to talk about, or do I need to talk about one item and then sit down and then put my light back on?
One moment.
Items. Each member can speak once on each matter in part one. I would advise that you rise, address the question to the relevant one of the three items in part one. But then if you have any other matter that you wish to raise under Rule 9.4 in relation to any matter of the executive, you can then put that question separately. But simply to assist us in the tracking in relation to this, may I suggest that you speak separately on matters? Does that assist?
So I'll speak now on one item and then I'll sit down and then I'll ask to speak again with the Chairman's permission.
Okay.
Okay, I wanted to talk about UK Reef, which is something that's very close to my heart. And UK Reef is a forum for unlocking investment and driving regeneration and development across the UK to accelerate economic growth. And I was very privileged in my previous role as Cabinet Member for the district and for the county to attend one or two of the UK Reef events over the last few years. And I found it really, really useful to showcase Staffordshire. The districts and boroughs came together with the County Council. We had a stand, we produced promotionary material that we could share. It all tied in together. So we had a County Council leaflet, and then we had, for example, South Staffs Council, I think Lichfield Council as well, put sort of similar material together. So we were very, very collaborative in that. And I just wonder if that continues, does this administration also work closely with those districts and boroughs? And on the back of that information, I'd like to understand how many times since this administration has been in office, how many times there's been a leaders board held in this county. I know that previously we used to hold a leaders board probably every quarter where we would work collaboratively with the other leaders of the other districts and boroughs. Frankly, it seems to me just at the moment that there are sort of pot shots being made about other councils on social media, which of course isn't helpful for collaborative working. And I know the leader has similarly recently just said that we must be as one. It doesn't feel that we're as one, and I want to know what work you're doing to make that happen. And I don't know if he's allowed to speak now because he's already spoken, so thank you.
Councillor Holland.
Mr. Chairman, good morning, everybody. My question relates to the Integrated Performance Report Q3 2025-26.
Down of which departments contributed most to the £3.15 million underspend in Q3 and whether any of these variances pose delivery risks for 2026-27.
Councillor Farrell. Oh, sorry. Councillor Pert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also wanted to just speak briefly on the UK Reef and the regeneration opportunity that there is for the county town. We often talk about this, and the huge opportunity is to implement the Stafford Station Gateway project to bring back land that needs regeneration back into mixed use for commercial and for housing. particularly as this government seems to be beating us over the head about housing numbers. But equally, there's an opportunity to implement the much-needed town centre master plan that we're co-funding with Stafford Borough Council. But what I'm seeing really is that Newcastle and Stafford Colleges Group is the one leading the way. They're the one who's invested in the college campus. They're the ones who's invested in the Institute of Technology. They're the ones who have invested in the Adult Education Centre in the High Street. And I think they've invested £60 million into the town. And I think that now is the time that we fast track what we're doing in terms of those regeneration opportunities. And we need to make sure that when we go to UK Reef, we actually get a tangible outcome, that we actually get developers on board who put spades into the ground, because we regularly talk about UK Reef, but now is the time to make sure we get real action from it. We've got the government money in there doing some bits, but actually we now need the developers to come across and actually do something. And what concerns me is not just the lack of outcomes, is that when we get local government reorganisation, this will be another thing that is just left in the long grass. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Murray?
Thank you. So, quite a few questions in there. Can I just ask Councillor Wallace to repeat his question, because I hadn't got notes when it all came on through, and I've got, I think there's 7, 8 points on that one.
Thank you, Councillor Murray. Yeah, the question I asked was, would you agree that the Cabinet members will send their hard work over the last 10 months shouldn't go unrecognised and should be recognised and so forth? Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody knows, and I've spoken earlier, my own personal passion for SEND and for all those on a slightly different time frame. Our staff work tirelessly. Children's services, which comes a lot into that realm, have just had a fantastic upgrade in their Ofsted report, naming us as the new administration as one of the reasons why some of these improvements took place. We hope in the next year that will improve again, and this is down to the hard work of all those that work within the civil service and within the private sector as well. So it works as a partnership across all levels, and they do a fantastic job. Hopefully they may get some more money in the future. Let's see. They certainly need it. We certainly do need it. As for Cannock and Reef, we were greatly engaged with Cannock Chase District Council early in the year. Sadly, new leadership have totally disengaged with us. We will guarantee Cannock, like all areas of Staffordshire, will be promoted at the highest of levels at UK Reef, especially with Cannock Town Centre regeneration. A lot of extra land being brought, a lot of buildings being demolished, but lacking a little bit on the consultants and large groups and these companies that find the best purpose for it thereafter. And that's where we come into selling every single part of Staffordshire. And you make a great point about that, and it is essential. In fact, all of you do. This is about Staffordshire. Another problem with Cannock Chase District Council is the lack of engagement they politically chose to do. I did sit on the Levelling Up Fund Board. A lot of the information on there would very rightly be redacted from public announcements. But I can certainly speak about points that were never raised on it. In October, I had a meeting not mentioned. 5 days later, I hear a building called known as Peel Court was to be demolished. Did not bring it up. The next meeting, I even asked about our Prince of Wales Theatre. No real response. Find out in the papers 5 days later, they'd planned to demolish it. Did not even bring it up in the meeting. Total political choice to disengage. And that's a shame. And many of the opposition, and many people here all agree, does not belong. We should not be playing politics with businesses, people's lives, people's jobs, the prosperity and the economy of our county. Some things go beyond the realm of politics, and that's where we must all act as one to benefit. It's why we're all here in the first place. We came to represent, to be the voice for people in our area who chose us through that democratic process. So let's work together as one so that we can represent every single person. We are here for the Staffordshire County, not just a borough or district or area that you sit. Because when we help one area, it helps all. Just because you may be in my hometown of Cannock does not mean that those businesses, that education system, those jobs, your supply chain is not in Staffordshire Moorlands. In South Staffordshire, it crosses all boundaries. So we must work together as one on these things. It comes to politicising again, and Councillor Brown unfortunately did it again. You politicise something, you're saying it should be for the better good. Stop this. If you want something to work together, then just ask to work together. But the second you politicise it, saying we don't do things, and I wonder why there's no detail, where can we go with that? Please act responsible. Act as a grown-up. Be in the boardroom. This isn't the playground. Time to grow up. So the participation with the Staffordshire Day. Maybe participate a little bit more. Have a look at the page of We Are Staffordshire. See the partnerships we already have. The stakeholder involvement that is already going on through. You might be surprised how much is actually already happening. Maybe engage rather than politicise, and you might be pleasantly surprised about what we have coming forward that mentions Staffordshire. Councillor Wilson, engaging with all councils. Absolutely, we should be. Sadly, Lichfield has politically chosen to disengage. They have removed themselves from the LVET board. They still take the accolade. The cathedral's on it. Lichfield doesn't want to be part of it. They've come off the UK reef to come in with Staffordshire. They're going by themselves. It's a higher cost. And now they say there's no such thing as a Staffordshire-wide nighttime economy. They do not believe in Staffordshire. I'm sorry. Lichfield has chosen to disengage with this county. They're politicised, that will cause damage to their residents, to their businesses. They're cutting off the nose of businesses and constituents just to spite their own political face. It's poor, poor behaviour. Councillor Holland, the question asked is in great detail. I've already given inclination. We'll get that inviting to you because it is quite a detailed response in there. Our town centre partnerships, Councillor Pearce, they're absolutely essential. We do have a great partnership with Stafford, part of the Stafford Town Regeneration. Another great accolade with Newcastle, going for county town. Be fantastic. Town of culture for Newcastle. Oh, absolutely. Back then, you've had the Town of Bloom so many times. It's a beautiful area. Yeah, I think we could all get behind to have a town of Staffordshire being town of culture for this country. Be a great accolade. And that's where we have to work together on, all of us, because it brings wealth, benefit, and inspires our next generation. Do you know what? Let's go to school. Let's engage. Let's go out. Let's spend. Let's move to Staffordshire. Let's invest in Staffordshire. And that's where we've got to start really bringing things together. And as for some of the restrictions, again, Councillor, you mentioned why, and Leaders Board has often been sidelined now because out of the blue last December, a white paper came from the government. It was the devolution white paper. And then all of a sudden, by May, end of May, it changed to the LGR paper, realistically. It is causing dreadful upheaval. It is a focus that we should be focused on more important things. Regardless of, we will deliver LGR as instructed to. We will make it work for this county. We will make it work for every single area. We will bring this county hopefully together just as one county again. At Stoke, Staffordshire, one county, one strategic authority. So that has caused some upheaval. It has stopped some communications. Let's see if that stays on track or that U-turns again from government. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But all these questions just highlighted important points. It's something I stood on, something from right day one. I keep saying, Staffordshire had lost its voice. It was the drive-through county. And because of my nightclubs, I said it was known as heart of the country, but it lost its beat. And that's why we all should be working together to make this county the beating heart of the country. It's with acts like Staffordshire. It's with the whole exhibition stand at UK Reef. Every single borough and district, excluding Lichfield, are working together with that one. And we all must work together for that, because it benefits every single one of us, every single of your constituents, your businesses, your friends, and the whole country. So we improve the profit, the economy of this United Kingdom improves with us.
Thank you. Now moving on to paragraph 2, UK Reef event. Councillor Farrell, do you have a question on that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No, my point was on Staffordshire Day. And I think, just out of interest, I think a few people are confused. I think maybe going forward in future meetings, we should maybe clarify the process of this, because we seem to be going all over the place. But I want to talk on Staffordshire Day. I can do that now or in a minute. It's up to you, Mr. Chairman.
Do it under Staffordshire Day, then. OK, thank you. Councillor Edgerell, have you got a question on UK Reef?
Thank you, Chairman. No, mine relates to the second part of the agenda, the second part of the leaders.
Okay, I'll come back
Thank
to
you.
Thank you. Councillor Wilson?
I'm so sorry, Chairman. My next comment is in relation to libraries. So do I do that now or?
Yes, you can do, yeah.
Oh, right, okay. Thank you. Sorry. Okay, so we have 43 libraries in this county, and over the years we've been refurbishing the ones that are managed by the County Council. We have 27 community-managed libraries. In February of last year, this County Council committed to investing £30,000 into each of those community-managed libraries that put in a bid for a project that they wanted to realise within their library space. So that was February of 2025. We're now in March of 2026, and the libraries still haven't heard when they're going to receive that funding. Brood Library...
Point of order. Councillor Humphreys.
I believe that question regarding libraries is in part of the report, that's for information only, not for, up for debate. I thought it was just the first 3 points up for debate. Thank you.
The chairman just said you could.
Yeah,
Apologies, waiting for the microphone. Standing Order point 9.4 does allow any member in the chamber to ask any question at this time on matters relating to the executive, the cabinet. So on the basis that the library strategy is a matter relating, it is acceptable that that question is asked. I think in terms of any confusion that there might be, we do have three paragraphs, if you like, in Part A, which is Government White Paper, UK Reef, Staffordshire Day. If anybody has a question, further question relating to those, please drop them in that place. That would be great. But in addition to that, and councillors can only speak once in any of those A, B, C. But beside that, yes, if the question that you have relates to the business of the executive, you can absolutely signify you wish to ask a question, and that question can be asked.
Thank you. Councillor Wilson, do you wish to carry on? Thank you.
Thank you. I'll repeat the question. So, as I was saying, we have 43 libraries in this county. A number of those are managed by the council, and over the years we have refurbished them and we've brought them up to spec, and we've made them wonderful sites for our residents to visit. We have 27 community managed libraries, and in February of last year we committed to those libraries that they could bid up to £30,000 each to realise projects in those libraries that would bring their libraries up to spec and provide vibrant new spaces in those libraries with various different projects. So that was February of 2025. This is March of 2026, and those libraries still haven't seen that funding. Brood Library, for example, is 10 years old, or rather it's managed by the community. 10-year anniversary this year, that needs recognising. And they wanted to fulfil their project so that they could showcase that in June this year. Kinver Library has been waiting for works to be done there. We'd like to know, as people are saying, that libraries are the vibrant beating heart, and as the Libraries Improvement Fund, which was brought down centrally to this council of £5 million, the libraries would like to know when they're going to see that level of investment in their spaces. So I'd like to ask the Cabinet Member if she's able to give us a date for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Holland?
Is that on? Yep, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My question is with regards to Staffordshire means business, employment and skills. I'd like to ask the Cabinet, what proportion of the 3,280 young claimants aged 18 to 24 is the Connect to Work programme expected to support in year one? And how will the council measure sustained employment outcomes? What does success look like? Thank you.
Councillor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mine's on library strategy. Under the Conservatives, the libraries were very successful. They had evolved to become vibrant central hubs in our towns and villages. They connected communities, offered more than just book lending. I could give examples, there's a huge list, but I shan't at this time. But oh, guess what? This says in the leader's statement, guess what? It says libraries are vibrant central hubs, connect communities, offer more, but what's truly new? Would the Cabinet Member like to respond, please?
Councillor Higgins.
Thank you, Chair. Am I allowed to speak a little bit now about SEND? Because I've had my light on for ages and I never had a chance to respond to some of the questions. Is that okay? I have got some of the answers to some of the questions, but it's taken so long for me to stand up that people have probably forgot what the questions were. But we were talking, you asked about the white paper, which Councillor Murray has answered for you. But I've just selected a few of your questions that I'd just like to give you a few answers to. You were asked about the investment in SEND, and we need more investment. Well, we do need more investment, and we did invest an extra £5.5 million under our administration. However, before that, you cut the funding by £45 million. So you're asking for more investment, but if you hadn't cut it in the first place, things might be in a better place. You also asked about having more specialist provision, schools locally. Again, under your administration, you say that the previous Cabinet Member, Jonathan Price, did a really good job. From my own personal experience, there are areas where he could have improved, because there is a school that's been empty for almost 10 years in Staffordshire that could have been turned into a specialist local provision, and it was left. And I don't understand why, knowing the need for local provision, that school, that empty building would have been left. Under our administration, we're getting things moving, and we're going to make sure that that school is open as a local specialist provision. And then the other thing about the specialist hubs, under the white paper, they're looking at more mainstream, and that's what, again, we are working towards. And the specialist hubs, I think it was you, Councillor Brown, that asked that question, will be open soon. We're in the process of getting that sorted. We are improving the SEND system. We're doing everything that we can to ensure the young, vulnerable people of Staffordshire get the best service that we can give them, and that's on our watch, so thank you.
Councillor Pert.
Mr. Chairman, can I address my comments to the integrated, or my question to the integrated performance report, please?
Point of order, please.
Thank you.
So we have a procedure in here. Now, if all we're going to have is 9.4 regulation put on everything, we might as well scrap the whole agenda and just make it the opposition's little playground party. So they have no concept of agenda. They have no place. We have an agenda here. Do you want to follow it or just make... I'm so sorry to let you know this, but you lost. You are a tiny little group now to what you used to be. You must realise this now.
Thank you.
You do not control this council.
Thank you, Councillor Murray.
You do not control this council.
Councillor Murray.
I will sit down.
Councillor Murray. Councillor Pert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to address my question to the integrated performance report. First of all, I'd like to start by welcoming the new cabinet member to his post. I noticed that there is an underspend of £3.15 million in Q3, and that's projected to carry on to the year end. Given the cost of reversing the budget cuts to highways, grip bins, signs, school crossing patrols, and not bringing forward the increase in community fund or the increase in DHP, which was just less than £471,000 that we talked about at the last meeting, will the cabinet member for finance look again at those proposals and see whether they could be accommodated and paid for out of the underspend? Thank you.
Councillor White.
Thank you very much, Chairman. So I was going to speak on UK Reef, which is another area where we're in agreement. UK Reef is something that we involved this council in when it was new as an alternative to MIPIM, which we felt was a little bit over the top for councils going to the south of France in the sunshine. So now we go to Leeds and we talk about regenerating our towns and investment in Staffordshire. Big supporter of that. We have cross-party support on it, and that's absolutely great. But I think this point on the agenda is going to come up again and again, isn't it? So under all previous council meetings prior to May this year, the way that our agenda worked was that all items on the leader's statement were available for debate, and we would run through each of those items in turn. And all members would know, we're speaking on this item now. If you have anything else to raise, you wait. And that's how we did things. The agendas that we've got now, the items that are for debate, in inverted commas, are things that we agree on. SEND reform, bringing investment into Staffordshire, celebrating Staffordshire. On this agenda in part 2, marked not for debate, we have our new library strategy. We have our first community safety strategy, a very important topic. We have our environmental strategy. We have the Staffordshire economy. If I look forward to next month, based on the cabinet agenda that's been published, we've got our economic strategy for the county. We've got our highways capital paper, over £100 million of highways work. We've got the county farms statement, something that's attracted a lot of public discussion. Are those all going to be not for debate as well? So my question to the acting leader is, can we sit down and talk about this, perhaps with the Chief Executive after this meeting, perhaps with you, Chair, as well, and discuss an agenda that's actually fit for purpose, because we're all here trying to debate the business of Staffordshire, the things that matter to our residents. This is not going very well this morning. I'm not seeing people trying to be difficult. I'm seeing people trying to debate the things that are important. This isn't going very well today. It would be really helpful, Councillor Murray, if we could sit down between now and the next council meeting and try and work out something a bit better. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Hall.
Good morning, Chair. If I may bring back the discussion to economic development, and this question probably straddles both Reef and the Staffordshire means business, so it sort of probably crosses two agenda items. But as the council continues to promote economic growth and support employment across Staffordshire, would the leader agree that we should already be increasing provision for appropriate HGV parking and driver facilities as part of that economic planning? In towns such as Burntwood, we have significant industrial activity, which is fantastic, yet the drivers who literally keep the economy moving have very little safe places to rest or to stop, and it's causing problems with them, relations with the residents, and it's stifling economic development. So, really, economic growth depends on logistics, and logistics depends on its drivers. So does the leader agree that ensuring better provision for HGV drivers should form part of our wider approach to supporting economic activity across the country? And it should also be noted that there are around 300,000 HGV drivers in the country and around 600,000 van drivers. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Murray, would you like to respond?
Yeah, thank you. We'll have to take up with that conversation because this has to change. You're making a mockery of these chambers. I remember the first couple of council meetings of how they behaved. So I first came up for belonging in the boardroom, not the playground. It's time to grow up. And it's why that had to come in. Because again, you must remember, you no longer have control of this council. It is not your decision. The public, the constituents chose that way. They voted for reform and they got Reform UK, and that is what we're bringing. So please, stop acting like children. Stop the sniping with everything you do and say. It is tiresome. It's boring. It really is just boring. It really is just boring.
Thank you.
This is exactly what I mean. The abusive language that is now used again, and we had it at last council. Sorry, not acceptable. Not acceptable.
Point of order.
Saying that we're sickening.
Councillor Murray.
No.
Just before we go to the point of order, I'll just reiterate a couple of points that I made earlier on. Whenever the chairman speaks, no member will continue standing and no members will rise until the chairman has finished speaking. And no member may question another member's motives or use of offensive expressions to any member of the council or officer. Councillor White, your point of order?
Chairman, I mean, my point of order was along those lines. So we're here for political debate. That's absolutely fine. But describing people as children, I think, for example, does constitute offensive language. Councillor Murray, that's not your usual way of doing things, Chair. I think we just need to make sure we're trying really hard today to have a debate that focuses on the issues. Could we all try and do that, please? It is political debate. We won't agree on everything, but if we could avoid that sort of pejorative language, I'd be most grateful.
Thank you. Councillor Murray.
Thank you. I'll gladly go to political debate. When after last council was all called racist, when we were called sickening, things like that, then yeah. We'll gladly go that route when you choose to do so yourselves first. We have now several questions using 9.4. if I may ask if we could have those questions given to the correct Cabinet members, and we'll get back in writing on all of those points. They'll keep bringing them up, and we'll reply back in writing to them. Some of them actually would need to be done in writing. The connector work exact figure would be. It is very important it does land perfectly on the send, because a large section of that connector work, Get Britain Working Programme, is for our care leavers going into work coming forwards. The exact numbers, the programme has just been launched. Our literature and promotion grant that is something I am actually very proud of, worked alongside with Anthony Baines on this. It's a fantastic piece of work we've done together, and it deserves all the accolade from every single area, every educational, both public and private, to bring this up to speed at the fastest level, because it's a really great piece of work. I was about to say, brought those extra ones in because it became a little bit ridiculous at the first couple of council meetings, everything was on the leader's statement. There is open to debate. Mentioned farms. We do have a couple of questions on farms, one from the other side. Get the questions in. We did not put our questions in very early. In fact, they only went through the end of last week. Plenty of opportunity for questions to have gone into being asked. Councillor Hall's points on the provision for logistics for heavy goods vehicles of all types. It is really, really important right now, because we have a huge development in South Staffordshire. It's the West Midlands Interchange, Europe's largest rail hub. Hardly anybody knows of its existence. This is a huge transport hub of rail to road. It will link straight to the Channel Tunnel. The logistics of supplies and goods will be immense all through Staffordshire. That does mean we have a huge piece of highways work to be done, and that takes central government funding for. We'll need the A5 to be improved. Some pieces will need extra lanes to take the extra capacity of those trucks in the next 10 years when that all comes online. Leads straight up through Burntwood onto the M6 toll. We do have the dual carriageway there, but the other junctions will need extra work. These trucks will need places to stop, to rest. Their tachograph, the hours they're allowed to work is very strict, and rightly so. The provision to bring trade through to Staffordshire requires the provision for our heavy goods vehicle and that sector of logistics to have the provision and the area to do it. Comes also into the 5500, the A38 corridor, which is yet to be looked at. This will all be sung, praised and lobbied at UK Reef. And this affects every single part, every one of the district, boroughs and the county as a whole. It will benefit Stoke City. It will benefit every part of the county and bring our wealth, our job creation up. And that's where UK Reef sits perfectly, because we get to lobby with government. On the night before, the councillors opposite will know this through previous experience. We have the meet and greet and dinner and drinks. We will all be there that are invited in, 2 Cabinet members, and we will be selling the sizzle for Staffordshire at that event to influence and to lobby for Staffordshire through ministers, through MPs, and get the funding that we need. Thank you.
We will move on to paragraph 3, Staffordshire Day. Councillor Farrell, did you want to?
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everybody. Staffordshire Day, celebrated on the 1st of May, actually commemorates the anniversary of Josiah Wedgwood establishing his pottery company in 1759. So I think we should applaud that. 10 years ago, it was established here in this council under the leadership of Philip Atkins. Not entirely sure if he was alive in Wedgwood's day. It was close, but it was it, yeah. But I'd like to thank him and the administration at the time for starting this, and I'd like to thank the current administration for continuing it. And hopefully, the 10th anniversary will be bigger and better than ever. I'm overjoyed that Councillor Murray is so interested in Lichfield. I am too. We've recently been awarded purple flag status for our nighttime economy. Lichfield has, as you know, Staffordshire's only 2 Michelin-starred restaurants. Congratulations to Tom Shepherd and Liam Dillon. We've just opened a brand new leisure centre. We've got a cinema on the way, and under the excellent leadership of Doug Pullen, the district is thriving. So I'm sure Councillor Murray will welcome and congratulate Lichfield as they've just been awarded Council of the Year. So congratulations to them. It's clearly a thriving place to live. So yeah, I think it's excellent that we're celebrating Staffordshire Day for the whole of Staffordshire, wherever we live. And while we're talking about Staffordshire, of course, we've seen around us, it's great to have Screen Staffordshire here, filming lots of things. I wonder if they're watching this council meeting at the moment, because we've seen lots of fantastic auditions so far for the next council leader. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Edgeler?
Chair, my question relates to libraries again, so I hope I'm in the right place. I believe our libraries do a brilliant job, and it a bit relates to what Councillor Wilson was saying. My concern is the voluntary-led libraries. The one in Bassett, in my division, it should have received £30,000 and is still waiting. Why? And also, why are they receiving a lot less money than paid libraries? And where do we get the money from? Where did they get the money from to repairs to the building? That is a question I'd like answering.
Councillor Wilson.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm talking now about the safety strategy. Is that allowed at this point?
Thank you.
Okay. So what I wanted to say was that in our previous life, in the previous administration, there was a portfolio holder that looked after communities and culture. So they looked after the archives, the library service, trading standards, the countryside estate, and community safety. In May last year, with the new administration, a cabinet member for community safety and resilience was appointed. The special responsibility allowance for that role is £21,400 and something a year. This strategy, I'm just wondering what's different to what we did before. It's exactly the same as what we did before. Yeah, the doing of it was exactly the same. The only difference was that we did more partnership working. And I can't see anywhere in this document anything to do with partnership working. I'd like to understand where the £21,500 of taxpayers' money is being spent in the last 11 months since your administration has appointed this community safety and resilience cabinet member, because I don't see us getting value for money. I'd like to know what in 11 months has actually been done that's different to what we did before. Thank you.
Councillor Tagg.
Thank you, Chairman. Obviously support Staffordshire Day. I think it's a great initiative brought in by the previous administration, and for many years has been celebrated across the county and will be so this time. I think one of the main things we like Staffordshire about is our green spaces, and I was really pleased to see, and it's on the part 2 of the agenda, Chairman, the environment strategy. That was brought in January 2024 by the previous administration. I had the pleasure of introducing that to this council, and of course that's all about that 30% protection of land within the county for biodiversity. It's about increasing that biodiversity as well, and it's also about enabling freshwater protected areas to thrive in this county, so really in support. What I would say, though, was when I read the new strategy, there's a lot of we will continue, we will carry on. So I think it's, again, a strategy that's come forward that really endorses the previous administration's approach, which was obviously to move this county forward in a greener direction. We have seen delays in the local nature recovery strategy. We were due to go out to consultation following May last year. I believe that has been delayed, and we're still waiting to go out to that consultation. I think it's something which we need to note. We are behind schedule on what we were going to do on the local nature recovery strategy, and that's really important that we move that forward. Also, this strategy sits with the wider environmental strategy, as it says in the leader's statement. And at the leader's statement, at the scrutiny meeting, I questioned the portfolio holder about the commitment to still report on carbon reduction, and the officer at the meeting did say that that's what the county were going to do. They said it was because of government funding requirements. The government have a net zero target of 2050, so if we're still reporting on net zero, on carbon reduction targets, because the government require us to, and the government have a 2050 target, that means that this council still has a 2050 target. Would the interim leader like to comment on that?
Councillor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd just like to speak about the Environment and Biodiversity reports that went to the Cabinet a few weeks ago. I'm in agreement with Councillor Tagg. There's an awful lot of good in this paper. But also, I have emailed yourself, Councillor Murray and Councillor Coles to actually ask to work together on this. So when you've told me to grow up this morning, when you've told me not to play in the playground, when I was the one that asked yourself, Councillor Large and Councillor Cooper to meet with farmers in October the 14th to be precise, I'm extremely disappointed this morning to hear what I have. The farmers and growers in Staffordshire deserve to be part of this. And you can throw back at me all sorts of things that you've engaged with different bodies, but they asked to be removed from the local nature recovery strategy because they hadn't been engaged with enough. So I again put it to you. Firstly, I'd like an apology. And secondly, I would like to engage with you, as I've always tried to engage with this administration. And I'm very disappointed, and I will now sit down.
Well done.
Councillor Bagley.
Thank you, Chair. This may be slightly out of order because my light's been on for about 20 minutes now, so I do apologise. But I just wanted to respond for Councillor Pert. Thank you very much indeed for the introduction there. I just want to start by saying I'd probably make a rubbish politician because whilst I'm not going to answer specifics today on the questions asked, I just want to stress my only interest constantly in this role is to strive for maximum efficiencies across the board. My only interest is providing the best first-class services we're able to for the residents of Staffordshire. This will constantly be under review and we'll constantly be providing the best outcomes we can for our residents. So I just wanted to respond on that basis. Any specifics, I'll gladly get back to you. But thank you very much indeed.
Councillor White.
Yep, thank you very much, Chair. I realised as Councillor Bagley was speaking that at the beginning of the meeting I didn't congratulate him on his appointment as the Cabinet Member for Finance. And I just wanted to make sure that I had the opportunity to do so before we moved on. We were pleased to see you appointed into the role. Many of us have worked with you on committees. We've seen a good dose of common sense from you whenever we've interacted with you. So we're looking forward to seeing you grow into your role. So welcome.
Councillor Coles.
Leader. I would like to respond on the library's questions, which I'm just wondering if you have been at the last council meetings or maybe you were going out doing interviews, so you wasn't really listening. But ultimately, the plan is very different, and the community managed libraries will have their funding confirmed by the end of March. I'm just stating facts here, so there's no point of order.
Point of order, please.
So,
point of order. Councillor Wilson.
Life, when we're busy people and we have more than one meeting at a time and we have to prioritise, occasionally we have to leave one meeting for 10 minutes just to finish something that we're doing outside and then come back in. I find it disparaging that this...
Not a point of order, please. Please sit down, Councillor Wilson. Councillor Coles, please carry on.
So I have been to all the community managed libraries. We've been in 10 months, and I've been to all the community libraries. And as I've said in the last full council, they had never seen you. They'd never seen a county councillor before. So did you go out, did you sit there and speak to them and find out what they wanted? No. So we've been in 10 months, and at the end of this month, they will get their funding. And as I've said many times before, Burton Library is an example. You didn't put enough meter rooms in, so they didn't have the opportunity to bring more money in. They have much more opportunities to do that. There was bespoke furniture that needed looking at, where basically your funding doesn't go far enough. Can you stop signalling and make your point, Councillor Farrell? Why are you signalling? Are you going to make a point of order? Right, I'll continue. So again, the adults in the room. So yeah, I've been out to all of the community managed libraries over the last 10 months, and I'd never seen a county councillor before. Is that how much you cared about them? I care about them, and as I've said many times, I'm looking at the bespoke furniture where £10,000, £11,000 was spent on bespoke furniture like sensory nooks. Instead, we'll use £500, £1,000 of that, so that can go further. They have been really engaged with this. It's going to be commercially different. Basically, the footfall has been declining over years across the UK. There was no marketing plan put in place, so there was no guarantee you were going to get any more footfall in those environments. So that is how much this administration cares, because we are putting marketing plans in place to make sure that they come through the doors. We've also worked with communities, so you lose people when they're teenagers and then they go out and they don't have anywhere to go. So we've actually now just put a youth service in the back of Burntwood Library. So yes, all the community funding is going to be happening then, and it will be more commercially led. So also with Womborne as well. Yeah, we updated it with the lift funding. It's just been done. Actually, it's beautiful. Everyone's saying it's wonderful. But the meeting rooms actually were not up to standard. And the rooms where they were bringing income in, they literally had health and safety issues. You didn't even look at that. That's how much you cared about the people. Thank you.
I have two. You've already spoken on this. We've moved on to paragraph 3, and you've already spoken. Are you a name? Sorry. Okay.
I think I was being rude. The chairman was asking me, saying I'd already spoken once, but my light was on to speak about another item about the executive, which I think I'm allowed to do. Yeah, I've spoken once about the third item, which was Staffordshire Day, and then you get a chance to speak on another item on the executive, because other people have spoken multiple times. That's true. I think the monitoring officer is nodding ahead.
One moment, please. Yeah, we've moved on from point 2. We're on point 3, so we're moving on. Councillor Murray.
Thank you. Could I reply that on the libraries, the fundamental change we're doing here, turn them totally into community hubs, guaranteeing their security into the future, something that's never properly looked at before. This is a new reform policy on libraries, like many other our policies coming forwards in this council. Councillor Taggart, I sort of lost where the question was. It just seemed a speech on what you'd done previously. I mean, how far back do we go previously? Everything is built on something else. I mean, maybe you just talk about the roads. I mean, after 14 years of a Conservative council, after 14 years of a Conservative government, you would have thought they'd be in better condition than what the Romans left them in. And that's where the funding's been lacking. So you have to move on. Councillor Brown, you know we started off on a very decent relationship. And I'm very disappointed to see that you make false accusations in U-turns on farming policy. No U-turn. At that farming union meeting we came to, said we would save our county farms. I've been in the press so many times, it's ridiculous, national, international, stating county farms would be saved. They should know better, or have they forgotten since losing control that you have to write and put the policy forward before it comes written in. everything that existed before was their policy. The only fact that those farms could be put into a housing plan by Newcastle Council, not by Stafford Council doesn't do planning, is because of their policy. Well, our new one is coming, we'll talk about that more later. That's the change, that's the reform that is coming into this council. As for net zero, well, I hate to say this to you, but Staffordshire County Council does not have a net zero target or policy. Does not have one. It's not in there. The government sets certain criteria that you must follow, but that does not mean we have one. Facts are important. What we're having now in this debate, and this is where it is childish, is they're taking every minute they can to do a 5-minute speech on old policy of old failed Tory actions to stay relevant. This is saying that this is remaining in the playground. Time to move up to the boardroom.
I move that the report be received. Is that agreed? Right.
I think the whole room is fairly confused about this agenda order. When I said I could speak, because I spoke about the third point on part 1, which was Staffordshire Day, I then put my light on to speak about another item of the executive, which I believe I was told earlier by the officers we could do that as a separate point. The officers also don't seem clear on it. I'd love some clarity from the Chief Executive or the Monitoring Officer on where we stand on this, because I'm trying to be orderly and polite and follow the agenda, but if I'd known I couldn't speak, I'd have put my light on earlier for my other points, so could you make a clarification, please? I know it's not your fault, Mr. Chairman. I know it's very confusing. I'm so sorry.
Thank you. One moment.
Thank you, Chair. Councillor Farrell, to your points, I think we clarified that the relevant standing orders mean under this item you can ask questions which aren't specifically related to part 1. Part 1 in this case was the government's white paper, UK Reef or Staffordshire Day, and we call those forward one by one. Councillors are still at liberty to ask any question that relates to the business of the Cabinet, the Executive during that period. So that is an individual councillor's choice, whether they choose to ask a question about the matter at hand, the 3 points are made, or another point. With regard to the question, which I think reiterates the clarification I gave earlier, Councillor Farrell, with regards to yourself, not my position at all to speak for the Chairman, but the Chairman will go through the lights that are indicated and call councillors forward. You did indicate under Part B, UK Reef, and asked a question. You did indicate under Part C, which was Staffordshire Day, as the Chairman moved on. You got that opportunity to ask a question, and each councillor is allowed the one question within that segment.
Thank you for that clarification. So, if I'd known that I could only have asked my question as part of my asking on Staffordshire Day, I'd have asked that question. It was my understanding that you could ask a question on the executive, so I put my light on after I spoke. I tried to do it in an orderly way. If we're not being called, we should be made aware of that, I believe, and told we should do it as part of one speech. I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm sure there's lots of members opposite that would like to do that as well. So I think going forward, this has been a bit chaotic, and I think we need clarity on how we do that. If it can all be contained in one speech, then we know that for the future. But I assumed that I could save my second part for the second question, as multiple members have spoken twice. So is it that I was chosen not to speak twice for a specific reason, or is there one rule for one rule for others? I'm just confused.
Very confusing.
Yeah, we will issue clarification, but no member has spoken twice on the same paragraph. I'm sorry, Councillor Farrell. We're going to have to move on, please. We'll send you. We'll get clarification, please. We'll move on. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Right. Right. Moving on to item 6. Pay Policy Statement 2026-27. Councillor Murray, will you move the consideration of the report, please?
Consideration for the report.
Is there a seconder?
I second the report.
Do you wish to reserve with the right to speak?
I do not, thank you.
Right. Any speakers? No? Okay, should we move on? It has been moved and seconded that the recommendations contained in the report be approved. Is that agreed? Aye. Moving on to item 7, appointments of the chairman of the committees. Councillor Murray, will you move the consideration of your nominations for the appointment of the chairman of the Pensions Committee and the Economy, Infrastructure and Communities Overview and Scrutiny Committee, please?
Thank you. Yes, I move that Councillor Robin Hull be appointed as Chairman of the Pensions Committee, Councillor Andrew Clisset be appointed as Chairman of the Economy, Infrastructure and Communities Overview and Scrutiny Committee. Thank you.
Is there a seconder? Do you wish to reserve the right to speak?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. Congratulations in advance. I suspect the vote will go without a hitch to the new committee chairs. A question for the Leader of the Council. Acting Leader of the Council. Councillor Murray, you've been vocal on social media over the last few weeks, talking about Stoke-on-Trent City Council moving from a system where committee chairs and vice chairs are appointed according to party balance, rather than being at the gift of the leader. You described that as undemocratic. Will you be changing the system in this council to the system that you feel should be adopted at Stoke City Council, i.e. that vice chairs and chairs of committees will be appointed according to party balance in this chamber, which, as you've said yourself, is the democratic way of doing things?
Councillor Murray.
I think the whole point was missed in that one. What Stoke City Council has done is changed the ratio on the numbers permitted to sit. So they've now made it in such a level that where normally, and this is a local council or city council's constitution, you now need about 30% of the vote before you're even considered. They've removed that ratio that smaller independents can sit on anything, and they've left it to the choice of the leadership to wear it who. You want to bring that in? I can just remove you all from every single chair. Is that what you're asking for, maybe? Or maybe I should go back to a policy that was brought in by yourselves some years back, which actually did remove that ratio. It's something I will now be considering seriously and, yeah, maybe change the ratio and put it where the majority of the voters wanted it to be. Thank you.
It has been moved and seconded that Councillor Robin Hall be appointed as Chairman of the Pensions Committee and Councillor Andrew Clisset be appointed Chairman of the Economy, Infrastructure and Communities Overview and Scrutiny Committee. Is that agreed? Aye. Thank you. Item 8, report of the Chairman of the Police, Fire and Crime Panel. Councillor Screen, will you move the consideration of the report, please? We'll just wait a moment, please. Thank you. We'll have to pause. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you. So, a report of the Chairman of the Police, Fire and Crime Panel. Councillor Screen, will you move the consideration of the report, please?
Yes, Chair. For clarity, Chair, I'm not presenting this item, as you know, but yeah, we'll move that on. It's a statutory report for the PFCC, and I've got no comments to make at that. Okay, I'm not going to speak on it.
Okay, I move that the report is received. Is that agreed? Aye. Thank you. Item 9, questions under Standing Order 8. Members, the 15 questions and answers have been circulated to members and published on our website. In accordance with the usual procedure, the questions and answers will be taken as read. I will allow each questioner 5 minutes in which to ask a supplementary question and to receive an answer. No debate is allowed on questions. Councillor Edgeler to Councillor Mason. Do you have a supplementary question?
Yes, thank you very much, Chairman, and thank you for your reply, Councillor Mason. Yes, I actually addressed it to the Cabinet Support Member, actually, this question, and what I'm asking, actually, is would the Cabinet Support Member meet with me looking at the Brockton Crossroads, and in doing that procedure, would he also have a look, and with your indulgence, Chairman, and please forgive me for this, but look at also Bassett Lane and the bends on Bassett Lane, because I think the Chairman would agree with me it's a very dangerous situation. So can I please ask the Cabinet Support Member for South Stafford to meet with me and look at these two situations, please? Thank you.
Councillor Mason.
I will respond to that. Of course, I'll ensure that the Cabinet Support Member meets with you and looks at those situations. No problem at all.
Councillor Beardmore to Councillor Mason.
I do have a supplementary question for Councillor Mason. My question is, how does Staffs County Council ensure that these schemes are selected based on the data, the accident risks and the value for money rather than any political preference?
Councillor Mason.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the question. What I can say is the highway officers are always very, very professional in their dealings. They run through the evidence, they run through the risks, and they look at what the options are and can be delivered. Priority is given based on what they find, based on severity, based on the possibility of the outcomes, and of course, as everybody in here will know, and I'm sure the opposition will agree, also based on funding availability, because all the things we would like to do, we don't always have the money to do. I will say now, I've not seen any particular evidence through anything that I've looked at of there being a political bias in Staffordshire County Council, now or previously. And I will assure you, while I'm in this role, there will be no political bias. It will be done on merit and merit alone.
Thank you. Councillor Hall to Councillor Screen.
Thank you. The strategy stresses effective partnerships, but partnership working is only meaningful when it delivers results for communities. When new levers or consequences, what new levers or consequences will the County Council apply when partners fail to meet these standards, and how exactly will they be measured?
Councillor Screen.
Thank you, Chair. Councillor Hall for the question. This strategy gives us what we've lacked for far too long. One clear framework that sets the standards and expectations of every partner must work to. It brings consistency, shared priorities, and a level of accountability we simply haven't had before. The key now is how we use that. Where partners fall short, we will challenge performance directly, escalate concerns through proper routes, and expect improvement. This isn't about blame, it's about making sure every organisation plays its part for the people we all represent. And residents will be able to see that happening.
We'll publish clear reporting, more open performance information, and be honest about what's working and where we're pushing for better. People deserve transparency. But this won't work if it sits in one portfolio. Every councillor here, and out there, and every district and borough has a role in driving this forward. We represent our neighbours, our families and our communities, and we share the responsibility to make the strategy real on the ground. If we lead with integrity and follow through, this won't just be a document, it will deliver a safer, stronger Staffordshire for the people who place their trust in all of us. Thank you.
Councillor Holland to Councillor Murray.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to the interim leader for the response. In his answer, he refers to representation being made by the County Council during Newcastle-under-Lyme's local plan main modifications. But unfortunately, what he neglects to say is those representations were to re-include county farmland AB12 and AB33 in Bignell End and Audley for housing, contrary to his stated position in public since May 2025. Does the interim leader accept that Conservative-run Newcastle Borough Council removed sites AB12 and AB33 from the borough local plan in the summer of 2025, and that Reform-run Staffordshire County Council requested that they be re-included for 180 houses just before Christmas? Does he take responsibility for the actions of the officer that made that request? And we need clarification, as the local member for Audley and Chesterton seems to be a little bit confused.
Councillor Murray.
Thank you. My position of this hasn't just been clear through official county council communications, but through national and international press releases on it. It has been very, very clear in public meetings, in this chamber, multiple times. I've made it absolutely specific to every level, to every person, that our county farms are to be protected. Now, if someone's acted outside of that following, then that's a different matter entirely. But my political and the political guidance of this has been crystal clear. And it leaves open that it was following the Conservatives' policy on farming. And that has not yet been changed. It gets changed on Wednesday. And our county farms policy will go through. And I tightened it up a little bit, hence why it didn't come through in January. Because the bit I added to it, and I'll read this out on section 9. County Council will not promote any county farmland holdings through the statutory land use planning process. Our farmland will be protected for farming. In addition, we will not allow any large-scale solar farms or battery storage schemes on county farms estates. Small-scale solar and battery infrastructure, which could add to the viability of farming operations, may be supported, because this is what farmers need and have asked for. The County Council will, in exceptional circumstances, allow incidental surplus land and property to be identified as potential sold for alternative use on a case-by-case basis, where it can be demonstrated that the proposed change of use would not have a material detrimental impact on the operational efficiency, integrity or long-term sustainability of a county farm estate. And that last part there was what I had added. We are left with many shadow little parcels of land, some only half an acre, some a couple of acres large. But they do connect. The only bit changed from that, and that was written last November, was that. So my position has been absolutely crystal clear on this. And to give further, a letter was sent out by our planning policy manager on my instruction to Newcastle Borough Council, stipulating an acknowledgement of the removal of that land. A reply has been received from Newcastle And just to be even more clear, clarification, I've had that same letter sent to every single council within Staffordshire, just so everybody knows without any doubt our position on our county farms. There was no U-turn, there was never a U-turn. The policy paper has not been done. It was their policy paper that allowed it to still happen. That change goes before Cabinet. And I'll be looking for Cabinet's approval for that next Wednesday. And that will then put in writing our farms are safe and secured for farm to fork, for our community, for our rural communities, for our farmers and for our future generations. Personally, I made comment on this in May. In the first month, I made comment.
Thank you,
No
Councillor
U-turns.
Thank you. Councillor Baker to Councillor Screen.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for the detailed report that goes through all the stuff going on right now. Training standards delivers statutory duties that are central to community safety and resilience, protecting residents from unsafe goods, scams, illegal tobacco, food risks and organised criminal activity. Yet, despite these growing threats, the service has faced long declining resources. What is this administration's plan to reverse this and invest back into trading standards so we can meet its statutory duty and probably support the safer and more resilient communities? Thank you.
Councillor Screen.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Councillor Baker. Let's be clear how we got here. The decline in trading standards didn't happen overnight. It was a result of years of drift under the previous administration. Years of drift. Yeah. We saw the same in many other areas, highways, safeguarding, you name it. Yeah. Long-term underinvestment, short-term thinking, and communities left to deal with the consequences. Trading standards are central to community safety and resilience, as you say. It protects residents from unsafe products, shields young people from harm, supports legitimate businesses, tackles scams and doorstep crime, and pushes back against organised criminality across both our towns and rural areas. But while risks increased, resources didn't. And that failure is why Staffordshire faces the pressures it does today. This Reform UK administration is changing that. We are building capacity, restoring enforcement and putting community safety back at the heart of this council's priorities. And let me finish with this. Reform UK is again rebuilding enforcement, because it was dismantled by the previous administration. Thank you.
Councillor Griffiths to Councillor Mason.
Thank you, Chair. Can the Cabinet member clarify the actual level of highways funding Staffordshire County Council receives from central government, the scale of the backlog, and why recent social media statements from some MPs have created public misunderstanding about what the county can realistically deliver? Thank you.
Councillor Mason.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for the question. Yes, I can clarify. The basic capital maintenance grant is just short of 30 million, and the incentivised element is just over 10 million. So we get just in the region of 40.4 million if we meet all the targets. And the interesting thing in that is, and I'll come on to MP's behaviour, is that the incentivisation, if we just took it and spent it filling potholes, we wouldn't meet all the required criteria, which is about proactive maintenance and involve things like preventative maintenance and top dressing, which is the way to go to manage your assets. And I acknowledge that. But shouting about giving us lots of money for pothole fixes is just a fallacy. That money pays for grass verges, grasslands, trees, drains, structures. It pays for winter maintenance. It pays for school crossing patrols. It doesn't just fix potholes. In terms of the backlog, there is over 30,000 defects in the overall backlog. About 17,000 nearly of them are pothole related. And of course, I will just say we are adding an extra 15 million specifically to deal with those potholes in the backlog, the lower level defects that present such high level of vulnerability during weather and wet weather and bad weather that we have in the winter. I would also add that This year, 26-27, the coming financial year, we got a 3.5% increase on last year's budget. That's inflation. That's not the millions extra fixing potholes that some local MPs claim they're giving us. Not that they even use the right numbers. 800 million is a 4-year target for the whole of the West Midlands. It's nothing to do with 800 million for Staffordshire. And to put it in real context, and I'm sure members opposite will recognise this, we have a replacement value of assets for about £8.6 billion. And the maintenance grant adds up to 40 million. That's less than 0.5%. If we put that money in the bank and do nothing, in 200 years' time, we could replace our highways network. That is the level of funding that we actually receive from this government. And they can walk up and down and make their TikTok and Facebook videos as much as they like, but the reality is we continue to be grossly underfunded in highways, and the evidence of that is decades in the making, but it's just outside our window in terms of the state of the assets. We'll do everything we can to fix them, but the reality is we need substantial increases and sustained funding to put the highways right.
Councillor Humphreys to Councillor Mason.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Councillor Mason, for your written response to a very important local issue that myself and Councillor Large have been very involved in. May I ask, what steps are being taken to ensure residents receive accurate information and are not misled by public statements made without full context? Thank you.
Councillor Mason.
And thank you for the question. Yes, there has been a lot of misinformation around this. Our own comms are working very hard to get the right information out there to try and ensure the residents know what we are talking to the Canals and River Trust about, because it has to be remembered this is a Canal and River Trust asset. It's not a county council asset. It's not ours to fix, but it does obviously bear our road, and it does cause disruption for our residents. So obviously the local comms, the county council comms are trying to deal with that. We're trying to get that information out. We're trying to educate, again, some of the political characters, and I'm aware that some statements have been made that allude to the fact that it appears we are stopping that bridge from being fixed, and nothing could be further from the truth. I think in answer, I said I've written on a number of occasions now to CRT to try and drive things along, including seeking some legal advice as to what actions we can take. And I think it would be useful if people stop politically posturing on these things and actually engaged in order to get them fixed and work with us rather than keep working against us.
Thank you. Councillor Bentley is absent today, so we move on to Councillor Helen Williams to Councillor Higgins.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Councillor Higgins, for your response. Given that safeguarding duties have applied for many years, can the Cabinet member clarify what specific factors meant these long-standing obligations were not acted upon sooner, and why it has taken until now for the Council and the school to enforce fencing at College Field?
Councillor Higgins.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Councillor Williams. This is an understandable question, and I empathise with the residents who are equally confused about this situation. The fencing has been installed now because recent estate reviews confirm that College Fields, as part of the school estate, must comply with national safeguarding standards and Department for Education requirements. The Council has consistently stated that the land must be kept secure to meet national safeguarding and DFE rules. But you are right, no action to comply with these requirements has been taken until now. This is understandably unsettling for residents, as they have enjoyed informal access to this land for more than 30 years. However, neither the previous maintained school governance arrangements nor previous council administrations ensured the site's boundary security met national safeguarding requirements. When the school later converted to an academy status, a boundary fence did exist, but it fell into disrepair due to lack of maintenance. The position changed only when two external factors required a formal reassessment. One, in 2022, the Village Green application submitted by Madeley Parish Council, which triggered a statutory process requiring both the council and the academy to set out their legal position on safeguarding and land use. And two, the 2023-24 estate review, which highlighted the need for detached school playing fields to be brought back into compliance with national safeguarding standards. Following these processes, the school informed Madeley Parish Council in late 2025 that continuous boundary fencing was required under the terms of the academy lease and safeguarding obligations. But I want to make this very clear. This was not a result of any decision made by this administration. It is simply that those who had a responsibility to uphold safeguarding standards before we entered into office failed to do so. And failure is the appropriate word here. Failure to maintain the historic fence, failure to ensure compliance with national standards, and failure to fully consider what ignoring this situation would mean for the community. We fully understand how deeply the community feels about losing open access to a space they've enjoyed for generations. That strength of feeling genuinely matters, but our legal duty must be to the safeguarding of children, the most vulnerable of Staffordshire residents. The reality is that had the people originally responsible for meeting these safeguarding obligations, had they addressed this at the proper time, all parties concerned, the school, the council and the local community, might well have avoided this difficult situation that we find ourselves now in. But unfortunately, they failed. They failed to act and the situation remained unresolved. Our focus now is to bring the estate back into full compliance, protect children and ensure that future decisions are made openly, lawfully and responsibly. And Chair, can I just finish by saying this would not have happened on our watch. We face our responsibilities no matter how difficult they are. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Doherty to Councillor Miners.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, everybody. Is it afternoon yet? Not quite. I stand today on behalf of residents and alongside my elected Tamworth Ward County councillors who feel that our voices were not heard during the original planning process. Given the issues around protective farmland, ecological sensitivities and listed heritage assets, as well as gaps in fire safety consultation, can the Cabinet member explain what further measures have been taken to protect the communities in cases like this, so that lessons learned from Amington Moors are applied consistently across Staffordshire? Thank you.
Councillor Miners.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much for the question. I think actually there's only two people in the room who would perhaps agree with this policy, and they've both left the room here across the whole of Staffordshire. There's 5,000 acres planned for solar farms across Staffordshire. It's affecting all of our communities. And you've highlighted one in Tamworth where 55 acres was planned 2.5 years ago. The communities are now under duress as these implementations happening and these solar farms are being set up in that area. A lot of discussion has been today on farms, the farming community. If you look around this wonderful room here, it's almost hundreds of years old. We rely on farming in Staffordshire. All of the farmers we've spoken to, we've been talking about this for months now, have felt a great duress with the pressure they're having on multinational companies coming to Staffordshire, and we're saying they're stealing our land. I'm going to highlight 3 letters here as well to help and discuss what's been happening in Tamworth here. One of them is from another community affected by a planning application with a solar farm, and we took it up. We're not the Borough Council, and they have tried to meet with the Borough Council and not been too successful. So again, these are small farming communities, tractor drivers, beef, sheep, agricultural land, wanting to pass that business on to their children in our Staffordshire communities. There's 10 pages here. Obviously, I can't talk it all through today, about a letter to the Stafford Borough Council where they've been talking about the worries about battery energy storage systems. In Tamworth, it doesn't look like they're going to have a battery energy storage system. And this community in Staffordshire was writing to the Borough Council, talking to River Trent, looking at an unsafe application of what they thought. They've written down 12 measures about the protection and response of teams, about the supply of water, if in case these did catch fire. And they have engaged with the fire and rescue communities. There's even been cross-party support from one MP in this area here to help us and discuss with this community. They're spending a lot of time and effort here trying to avoid expensive lawyers' fees and looking into it themselves. And one thing they say, they get the report back on a letter I'll allude to later, is that there was a fire in February that took 24 hours to extinguish. There was a fire in Liverpool that took 59 hours to extinguish. There was a fire at the world's largest BESS plant station in Northern California where 1,500 people had to be evacuated. So it's very worrying. And we've just seen the last couple of days, there was a vape shop caught fire in Glasgow and has destroyed another piece of our history. So again, that's a letter with appendix after appendix of appendix with these people and communities, who are mostly elderly people trying to get involved with this. So we said we would help them. So we wrote a letter in January with the help of the officers and cross-party support to the MPs in London. And we did get something that actually came back. And it came back from the Department of Energy and Net Zero Security, saying that they're safe. We will keep going on this. And it was from Michael Shanks, the ex-modern studies teacher. And he's basically saying that DEFRA will work it through, will provide ongoing regular inspections of the best sites, and at the same time, the best battery energy storage, they're saying they want to create for net zero, but nobody's looked where it comes from. No one's looked at Indonesia. Google Sulawesi. Look at the pollution and environmental crime that's happening on other parts of the world, so that we can set up our stability here. So it is ongoing, it is very difficult, and it's a battle that I think Staffordshire and the rural communities are ongoing, taking it to the Department for Energy Security and Net Zero. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Machen to Councillor Murray.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you to Councillor Murray for the written reply. May I ask, does this guarantee our county farms will not be sold, as some of my constituents have been alarmed by Conservative literature stating Staffordshire County Council plans to use them for housing? Thank you.
Councillor Murray.
I mentioned earlier, this is now guaranteed. An instruction from our Senior Officer on Planning has gone out to all leaders across this county, even those without county farms in, just so everybody is crystal clear. No. I really question that leaflet he speaks of that went out, electioneering leaflet, because he even claimed that we did the planning. Well, planning belongs under local council. You can apply for planning, but you cannot pass the planning. That's local council decision. This falls under, again, the old policy, the old Conservative policy that allowed them all to be sold. It's their discretion. Doesn't mean they would be, but it is at their discretion. This new policy that goes before Cabinet on Wednesday removes that discretionary choice because it stipulates that it will protect our farms. It also stipulates that that area of land that we own surrounding the farms, if it impacts them, they will not be sold either. It not only protects the land, the plot they sit on, but the business model that they are using. And just a quickie for just some Figures. Agriculture in this county is worth over 235 million annual. Our dairy is 122 million. One of the top ones in the country for that. Our cereals is 38. Our soft fruit, our pigs. We used to be famous for Staffordshire pigs. And sadly, that's gone. That is not all county. That is a lot private farmland. It's not all about county farms. This is the importance of agriculture and our rural economy. But it's also an ask to all local councils on planning policy, because a lot of our farms, both county and private, do need to diversify. They need to stretch out into different realms to make it feasible and sustainable to remain in farming. It will then prevent a lot of our farmland, this green and pleasant land, being turned from produce to solar. It'll mean from a field growing, capturing carbon naturally, to adding a battery energy storage site. The insanity to that, there's no logic in why you would remove farm production. We're not even 40% self-sufficient anymore in this country. If we lose any more farmland, we'll be exporting all food products to this country. They talk about carbon capture. And we do have to think about the cost, because it adds a cost to transport to your food. You bring an apple or strawberry all the way from the Middle East. That's a lot of miles, because a lot of ours do come from the Middle East area. We have a lot that comes from North Africa. A lot of our food produce does. It's a huge amount of mileage, and you're not getting that for free. You wonder why inflation on food is so high? Look at the transport cost on that. So food security is important. It's why this document is important. This is why this policy that I'll present to Cabinet next Wednesday for their approval will be important for every farm, not just in Staffordshire. Sends a message to this whole country that farming is important, and without farmers, there is no food.
Thank you. Councillor Hodges to Councillor Coles.
Chairman, and good afternoon. I'd like to thank the Cabinet Member for Communities and Culture for her very detailed response to my written question. But could the Cabinet Member for Communities and Culture please provide any specific revenue streams that have arose from our investment in arts and cultural projects throughout Staffordshire since we took over last year? Thank you.
Councillor Coles.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Councillor Hodges. So what I want to start with is who let the dogs out? Staffordshire did. So we've got a perfect Staffordshire Bull Terrier. No other county has a Staffordshire Bull Terrier. I don't know why it's not been thought of before, but brilliant. The current officers here have worked really hard on this and turned it around really quickly. But we didn't just let him out. We gave him a map, an app, and 10 giant Staffy sculptures that have been placed around Staffordshire at the start of the 1st of May, the 10-year anniversaries of Staffordshire Day. So it's going to guide through families through Stoke-on-Trent, Stafford, Tamworth and Lichfield. Even though Lichfield don't want to be part of the LVET, we've decided we will still work with them, and also Lichfield Cathedral have been amazing. So yeah, we've got a little happy chappy that's going to greet and guide you across. The feedback already, when we announced it on social media, has been phenomenal, and people have said, how's it going to bring in investment, what's it going to do for us? So when we launched it, a big tourism conference, we worked with our local visitor economy. I'd like to give some shout-outs. It's been animated by Carson Waterman, who are in Stoke-on-Trent, so very much keeping everything in Staffordshire. It's going to be very much the friendly face of our 3-year plan and drive more into our 2.7 billion economy. To show to the nation, Staffordshire is the nation's playground and why you should come. If you think about any marketing and you see a landscape, a building, it could be anywhere, it could be anywhere in the country, in the world, put Staffy on it, you start realising it's Staffordshire. So that's what we're going to do. I'll just tell you a little bit more about that. So at the moment, Trentham Gardens and Estates, I've been the first one, and we want to thank them very much. So they're going to be our first official Staffy sponsor. We have multiple ones. We've just chosen the first designs that have been sent in by adults and children, and it really encompasses what Staffordshire is about in that design. So local children and local artists can be used for this, and it's very much going to be a lasting legacy. So as already mentioned, Trentham is one of the biggest footfall drivers in Staffordshire, and it's in the top 20 or so across the UK. So you might think, well, why would they want that? Well, he's going to have bigger pulling power, isn't he? Because he's going to be part of a bigger picture. So the campaigns and animations of mascots from branding is known to increase football, but at least 37% more likely to increase that. And it can lift profit and emotional connection by up to 41%. So that's why Staff has been invented. So the young audiences, obviously, that will engage with this are already saying that they want to be part of it. So it's going to link places of interest, high streets, crafts, heritage, green spaces, cafes, and even little shopping districts. And also the districts and boroughs can also be involved. So I'll announce as well today that the Community Fund will be opened on the 1st of April, and it will be only for Staffordshire Day because of the elections. But then if you want to support your communities, you can also dig into that. And sponsorship is tiny, £100 for the app for put your placements on, part sponsorship. You can even design your own staffy for just under £4,000, and then you can have your own staffy sculpture for life for just over £6,000. So many slots are available, but don't pause too long because they won't be around. And just to give you an example, you asked about specifics. The Burton Barrel Roll generated over £600,000 in additional revenue. For local businesses, that's hard cash on our high streets. St Giles Hospice in my own hometown, March the Elephants that they did, across Lichfield, Tamworth, Sutton Coldfields, they had 20,000 extra visitors and they raised £125,000 for the hospice. If you look at even in London, they raised nearly £1 million in their sculptures after sending them off. So this is the call now for everyone to collaborate in your districts, to get your communities involved, to make sure we really put ourselves on the map and celebrate our 10-year anniversary together. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Pendleton to Councillor Murray.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Councillor Murray, for your written reply. It's great to see how the County Council works in partnership with our district and borough councils to help strengthen Staffordshire's economy. For my own area of Rugeley, and with the redevelopment taking place in Cannock Town Centre, can you tell me whether Cannock Chase District Council has been working with us in the same way? And based on that partnership, can we expect to see the same level of future prosperity and growth? Thank you.
Councillor Murray.
Thank you. I mentioned this earlier, and it shows where partnerships really work for the benefit of everybody. The partnership with the Newcastle town redevelopment and the wider area has been fantastic. It has been an open relationship from the start, fantastic growth meetings. I'm really looking forward to their new live music venue through a CIC that they'll have there. And I'm sure they will attract visitors from not just across Staffordshire, but neighbouring Cheshire and Shropshire that will enter to that realm. And that's because it has a university, people travel and they come all over. The same in Stafford. We're doing great partnership work with the whole Stafford Town Centre regeneration, with our Eastgate project, next to us here, and with the future project of Doxy Road. And it brings great wealth. And for Newcastle, I really do hope it gets the Town of Culture Award, and it takes us all to work together. Sadly, my hometown of Cannock, not the same. They had a change of leader. The previous leader, we had a great relationship with somebody who I knew before. We had some good opportunities, but since then it has been total disengagement. Two of the sit on the Levelling Up Fund board for that, as we have with other areas under my portfolio of economy. And a lot of that is redacted information, obviously. We're talking contracts, programmes coming forward. But I can certainly talk about things that were not mentioned in there. They failed to mention to me in one meeting that a whole building, known as Pill Court in Cannock Town Centre, was going to be demolished. Found out 4 days later. The following meeting happened just before Christmas. I even asked about our Prince of Wales Theatre in Cannock. No further action on it. I find out 4 days later they'd put planning through to demolish it. They failed to even communicate their actions on this board. It has fallen apart. They have totally disengaged with us. And that's a shame, because politics should not be involved, because this is legacy. These are buildings that will last there for 30, 40, 50 years. And they're playing games with it all. But the other thing that really concerned me, and this has been across the country, we have a lot of generation funds, the Levelling Up Fund, the Town Regeneration Funds, and originally they had very specific guidance on what they could be used for. This was all removed, and you were allowed to put them all into one pot and pretty much use them at will. Really, really disappointed with Cannock Chase District Council that they chose not to do anything with Rugeley. It's a town I've known my whole life as well. We know every single part of our Cannock Chase district, those of us who were born there, raised there. We lived there, we played there. And once again, Rugeley, I sadly fear, has been forgotten. They could have put some funding into that town centre, into the market that's dilapidated and vanishing. They could have done something, but chose not to. And it's a sad day when disengagement happens for political reasoning, because it hurts the wrong people. I hope they'll listen to this and engage again. Thank you for that question.
Councillor Clissock to Councillor Murray.
Thank you, Chair. I arise today to highlight a significant challenge faced our county's economic strategy. The need for total unity is that we here truly to deliver for our residents. Currently, the County Council is leading the vital nighttime economy study, a strategic project intended to bolster our hospitality sector and drive growth within the beating heart of our country. However, it's deeply regrettable that the leader of the Lichfield District Council has publicly dismissed this collaboration effort as, I quote, absolute poppycock. By refusing to participate, the LDC isn't just ignoring a survey, they are absolutely actively creating a black hole in our beating heart of the country. This refusal to cooperate undermines the investment case for businesses, not just in Lichfield, but across the whole of Staffordshire. While some may jokingly refer to our cathedral city as Lichfield Vegas, in reality, we're not quite there yet. We cannot expect to reach the premiership status of our partners refusing to look at the bigger picture. We are trying to build a momentum, a data-driven economy, yet we are being met with fragmented and self-serving attitudes. This trend of going alone is now extending to a national stage. In May, at the UK Reef Forum in Leeds, we should be representing and presenting a single, unstoppable Staffordshire brand, yet Lichfield chooses to attend independently, incurring extra costs and then also fragmenting the message we send to the global investors. Chair, while we're at the county level and working hard to deliver the value for money, it's clear that some district partners are more interested in protecting their own patch than actually a collaborative perspective of our residents. We cannot continue to allow this poppycock politics to stand in the way of growth.
Can you come to your question, please?
Got 5 minutes. I'll go on to the question. So my question is to Councillor Murray. Does he agree that Staffordshire truly is ready to compete at a national stage within our events like UK Reef? We need every district to be pulling in the same direction. And furthermore, can he send a leadership message to the Lichfield District Council to encourage them to stop opting for vital county-wide research like the nighttime economy study, and instead just joining us in a unified effort to fill the black hole and bring the investment back to the beating heart of the country? Thank you.
Can I just remind the council, it is 5 minutes for the question. Thank you. And the answer. So,
point of order first. A little bit of respect from those opposite. I'm getting sick of gesturing, hand signals, whispers. I mean, I can hear them all over here. Throw up, please. What was said at LDC, District Council, last week by their leader is frankly disgraceful and shows a total lack of understanding. People forget this nighttime economy is something I know at a global level. I have spoken about it at a global level. I have spoken about it when we're talking the whole state. The time is still running. When whole states of Australia and America do their own wide search. The company who's doing this study, Nighttime Economy Solutions, they're doing Ireland. Not a part of it, all of it. They've selected 9 nighttime economy advisors. Remember, a lot of this is rural villages, areas where they sell alcohol out of their kitchen window. And they've set them up. They actually linked Dublin, Cork, Limerick, Galloway, Kilkenny, Drogheda, Sligo, Buncrana, Longford, all linked together as one nighttime economy. But for some reason, Lichfield believes there's no such thing as a Staffordshire-wide economy. But it gets worse. He said there's no such thing as a Burntwood nighttime economy.
Councillor Murray, because there's been a misunderstanding, I will give you 1 minute, but it is 5 minutes for the question and the answer.
Okay. I'll finish off quickly. Lichfield need to get back on board with Staffordshire. Stop looking more towards Birmingham and come back into Staffordshire. Come and join us at the UK Defence. Rejoin the LVEP. Their cathedral is, it's a cathedral city, so should they be. Have a look at the nighttime economy. And this is a polite question to those in Lichfield. It's a request from a very, very well-known restaurant in the city centre. They're sick of getting parking tickets when they're delivering fresh goods. You have a parking restriction zone, a traffic restriction zone to the city. They have a code, but they come in there to unload. They get tickets. The recent refurb is paying like 5 tickets a day. Give them it's a nice, easy ask. Give them each a parking permit so that businesses, hospitality and shops that have fresh goods can get loaded and unloaded without getting a parking ticket. Basic things that the nighttime economy study would find out. In fact, you don't need them, just ask me. I can tell you basic things, but that would be a nice one for us all to work together, because I'm sure everybody would agree. Businesses should have the ability to load and unload without getting a parking ticket.
Thank you,
especially
Councillor
when
Murray.
it's fresh goods.
Thank you. Councillor Chapman to Councillor Screen.
Sorry, Chair, I've got a back problem, so you have to forgive me. Right, thank you, Chairman, and it's good to see everyone here united. And thank you, Councillor Screen, for your response on community safety, identifying hate crime reduction as a priority. So my supplementary question is this. Perhaps the interim leader would answer this one. How can the Council have any credibility on reducing hate while the Reform Cabinet continues to include a man who has made deeply hateful statements about women, black people and gay people?
Point of order,
that's
1
my
moment, please.
question.
Point of order.
I'm entitled to say it.
Point of order, please.
This is disgraceful behaviour again, and it must be stopped now. You are literally bringing in libellous comments to what others have claimed upon an elected member within this chamber. I mentioned in my last speech about how hatred builds up, and you shaking your head in touching your behaviour this whole council shows the level of intent to where you want to raise this.
Councillor Murray, this is not a point of order. This is a statement.
This has to be stopped.
Please carry on. Please carry on.
Thank you. I will repeat. How can the Council have any credibility on reducing hate while the Reform Cabinet continues to include a man who has made deeply hateful statements about women, black people and gay people?
You said to the acting leader, so I'll respond to it.
One moment, please. Councillor Chapman, were you addressing Councillor Screen or not?
Pardon? Councillor Screen. Shall I go through it again, Chair?
Yes.
I'm
Sit
very
down,
pleased
please.
to speak
Hold on. Can you sit down for a... Yep. Councillor Screen.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I don't thank you for the question. I'll consider a reply in writing. Thank you. Did you not hear what I said? No? Was the microphone not on? All right. Like I said, I don't thank you for the question, and I'll consider a reply in writing. Okay.
Thank you. Item 10, petitions. Does any member have a petition they wish to present? No, thank heavens for that, because I'm in need of a comfort break. Meeting closed. Thank you.